Good evening, all, and welcoming you all to my webinar session today. So, thank you so much for joining me. And today's session is all about cracking the creativity code. So, in this session, I'll help you to explore how to generate powerful new ideas that could widen your range of choices and then implement them successfully. So, before we move on, let's start with a slideshow. So in this session, I will help you all to explore, as I said, how to generate powerful new ideas. So before we move on, let's look what is creativity. I would like to give you all a description about creativity. Creativity is an acquired skill, one that improves with practice. So the more you practice discovering ideas and implementing them, the better you become at it. Or we could say that creativity is widening the range of choices. So you can do the same thing or you can try something new. It can only get better. So why this definition is important is that many of us are creatures of habit. We try to narrow the range of choice rather than widening it. Like we pick up things that we like and then we stick with that and we avoid new things because new things are sometimes uncomfortable for us. So the first thing that we should do is to break the chains of habit and to explore new things. And these new things, it could be anything like new food, new clothing, new music, or anything. Okay. So now we'll do a small experiment. I would like all of you to keep your mobiles down and fold your arms. So usually I fold my arms with left arm over the right. So now reverse it. Like right arm over the left. Okay. So how do you feel? Okay, I felt little bit discomfort because I'm not used to it. So we feel discomfort or uncomfortable with things that we are not used to and comfortable with those that we are used to. So practice being uncomfortable. Always practice being uncomfortable because if we are uncomfortable, like we are okay with what if it is uncomfortable. The thing is that when you develop new ideas, we could overcome that discomfort barrier within us. So always practice being uncomfortable. So coming back to the session, so I could say that creativity is the weird combination of head in the cloud and feet on the ground. I described it like that because head in the cloud means imagination and feet on the ground means practicality to make that happen. Creativity is actually doing something or making something happen. Like making something happen that isn't just the ideas. So now let us look into the two parts of creativity. Creativity is divided into discovery of new items and delivery to implement them. So we believe strongly that creativity is an acquired skill. Like it's a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets better as you exercise it or as you practice your creativity. So the more you practice discovering ideas and implementing them, the better you will get at it. We also believe that creativity changes the world and improves people's life. You know that world is kind of a messy place right now. During this pandemic situation, we are facing a kind of shortage of resources to deal with all the many problems that we face. So that's where creativity came into action. So now we'll look more deeply into the first part of creativity, that is discovery. So what is discovery? Discovery is generating novel and useful ideas that satisfy unmet needs. So, in this definition, the last part, it is really important. That is satisfy unmet needs. So, what does it mean? Discovery of ideas, it often usually begin with finding something when someone has a problem, like when someone has a challenge or a large number of people. And we use our creativity to help meet that or that desperate need. So, always the question that should pop up to our mind is how to identify real needs so that you don't waste your time inventing things that nobody wants or needs. So, the creativity journey, it begins with a look deep inside each of us, like deep inside yourself. So, before we start to discover an item, we should try to answer ourselves to these questions like, what are you passionate about? Or what are you good at? Or what you really, really love to do? I would like to quote an educator named Kenneth Robinson. He once said that creativity is finding what you love to do when you are playing and then use that to become your work and to make your living. Which means creativity is doing things that you love. And the lesson of creativity and asking questions like why, it's very important in creativity. Okay, now we'll look into the next part, that is delivery. Delivery means implementing our new ideas using proven tools and methods of business and management. You could see a picture there. It clearly shows the steps and how to shape your creativity and how to deliver it powerfully. The first one is aspire. Always aspire about what to do. For example, you should have a plan at first about what to do. The next is choose. At first, you may have many ideas, so choose from them the best ones that may fulfill the needs required. Next is discover. Here, we should have an insight about the selected ideas. We should think of all the advantages and disadvantages of these. Next one is evolve. It can also be treated as risk extension. Like each of the ideas may have a number of risks. So, we should be confident to overcome each of it. Fifth one is accelerate. We should accelerate like horses and not like camels. Next is scale and extent, which means we should always select the best one out of all and should scale it. We should find all the possible ways to make it the perfect one and then implement it. Last is mobilize. It is to go beyond structures. Like we shouldn't restrict ourselves to a limited space. Like I can only do this much. So more than this, it is difficult for me. That thought, it should be avoided. It is the most negative thought. Always think that I could do more and more, and always keep your aim high. Now let us move on to a new method, the Z method, or you could describe it as the zoom in, zoom out, zoom in method. I know that all of you would be hearing it for the first time. Okay, so let's be honest. Creativity can be risky. You can fail when you try to widen the range of choice, or when you widen the range of choice for yourself as an individual. Sometimes it can be uncomfortable or unpleasant, at least at first, because we are exploring a new territory. The worst that happens is you go back to the same old thing. So when you widen a range of choice for other people, the risks are greater. And the reason is very simple. Creativity, innovation, all these are science and not an art. It's not like the physics or chemistry that at least you don't have a Newton's law in it. So I can't give you a law that tells you when an idea is going to be successful and create value for many people. And so there's only one way to find out, and that way is to try it. So what we should do is to bring it to people and see if they really like it and then use it. So what I was coming to say was you all should be willing to take risk. We always say that failures are the stepping stone to success. But there is no such thing called failure in creating new ideas. That is actually a merit of this demerit. Because through these failures, you all could still learn more and these failures becomes a foundation for future success. Now I'll speak about a thought that is there in all our minds. Whether creativity is driven by the genes inside our body. But no, creativity is not fixed by your genes. We have heard people say like, okay, if any person is good at something, they say like, okay, he has the talent by birth. Likewise, there are genes that drive everything. We have 22,000 genes in our body, and some of them must be related to creative imagination. But all of these are like volume knobs and switches. What it means is that we have to turn it up like we turn the volume for our music player. So, in order to get creativity from your genes, you have to turn it on and then turn them up. So, now I will tell you how to do that. Turn up your genes. It can be done by creating an environment that is suitable for it, or by challenging your genes, or by working on new ideas, by working on your imagination, by challenging your imagination or the part of your brain that deal with new ideas. All this will turn on your genes. So when you take creative risk, you stimulate these genes and they get better and better and stronger and drive your creativity in the future. Always test your limits. Like you test your limits by tackling really hard problems and seeing if you have what it takes to crack them, to solve them. Next is build creativity muscles. Now let us look into how to build your creativity muscles. Okay, some of you may like to work out using weights. Mostly the boys do that. Okay. So in such workouts, the weights strengthen your muscles and keeps them in tone. Similarly, our brain is also a kind of muscle. And if you work it out, it gets stronger. And if you work it out, it gets more creative. So now I'll give you some tips about how to build your creativity muscles and how to exercise your brain. Actually, there are 10 tips for you. The first one is act, don't just grip. Grip means to complain about something. All of us see things that we don't like every day, like bad service, impolite people, unthoughtful people, things that don't work well. For example, if we move on to a restaurant, we could see sometimes bad service there. So, all this will make us more distracted. Now, we should look for those places where you can create value and think about how this could be improved. If you have a lot of ideas, you can't implement them all. So, implement some of those ideas and make them happen rather than just saying it. Next is break the rules. Innovation is breaking the rules, but intelligently. That means you have to learn the rules first, then master the rules. Sometimes these ideas may be weird, but sometimes they really do work and they really do create value in unexpected ways. So always learn the rules, write down the rules, and then break the rules. Third one is change your habits. Always get out of your comfort zone at first. As I said earlier, we are all creatures of habit. But practically speaking, we need to be because it is not possible to think of every single thing that we do. It's actually tiresome. So we usually do the same thing that we did yesterday, today also. And we don't need to think about such minor decisions. But the problem here is that we'll become stuck in our habits because we're comfortable with that. So we should try to become comfortable in being uncomfortable. So change your habits and try new things. Fourth one is develop resilience and embrace failure. As I said before, creativity is risky because sometimes the things you create don't work. Now we need to become resilient. So we need to bounce back from our failures and learn from them. So go on and simply get up and try again. Develop your resistance and develop your resilience. Next is explore dark corners and experiment everywhere. So, creativity is not just about inventing gadgets, it is about widening the range of choice in everything, everywhere, all the time, in everything that we do and the way we do it. So always explore the dark corners and try to think about new ways or creative ways to do things in everything that you do, like from brushing your teeth to tying your shoes. It may sound a little weird, but still, experiment in everything to getting dressed, watching television, listening to music, and doing everything. Like while we used to be in school, I still remember while doing assignments, we used to give creative borders. So experiment on everything, as I said. Sixth one is learn to focus. Focus is really, really important. Always set yourself a goal and focus on that goal. And single mindedly learn to implement the ideas that you have come up with. Focus is really important because creative people sometimes have so many ideas that they are distracted and they skip from one to another. So when you implement an idea, just focus on that idea. Use your microscope, zoom in on it, and then implement it with great persistence and focus. Seventh one is grow your persistence. Develop ways of simply sticking to something and seeing it through to the end and achieve your goal. This is very important part of the changing world, because if you're truly creative idea, you will encounter major resistance. So practice your persistence. Make sure that you do what you say you are going to do in small things, and then you will be better able to do it in large things. Eighth one is hear, listen, and teach. Always observe what people need. Listen to them and then make them understand about our plan. Next is individualize. Individualize means it's always personal. Like this is very important lesson about creativity. So imagine that you want to do a market research. So let me tell you, the best place to begin is inside yourself. If there is something that you would like to have and it doesn't exist, because many other people are also like us, chances are others would also want the same thing. So begin with your own need. Always think like, okay, I would like to do this and I'm going to make it happen, and then share it with other people. And finally, the last one, become who you are. At first, I began with this. I asked everyone to look inside yourself, like, what are your passions? Join yourself, explore your passions, and then use your creativity. Exercise your creativity to explore and express who you are, like your passions, your desire to change the world, and to help other people as well. Okay, now let us look into the Zizozi method in depth. So, the first step that you will take is to understand every possible fact and detail related to the challenge. So, really, really understand it. Now, look at it under a microscope. I meant to look deep inside to it. For example, when Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, he did a zoom in every aspect of electricity, like dynamos, creating electricity, transporting electricity, creating the filament in light bulb. Like he did every comprehensive zoom in on the problem. Then once when you're sure you really, really understand the challenge or the details of problem, then you can do the zoom out. In this case, it is basically a change of mindset. Like your mindset becomes one of the wild ideas, and you should go to the deepest of your brain in order to collect wild ideas, to collect solutions, to widen the range of choice. And you should do it with a mindset that says, okay, there is a solution. So the zoom in zoom out method, it is a collection of the combination of discovery, ideas, and delivery. So choosing ideas and then making them happen or making them practical. And there is a trade-off between these two things because they're very different mindsets. A mindset of wild imagination and then hard-headed practical management. Very few people have these skills. I'm sorry. Very few people have these skills together in high levels. Think about your own persistence, your own moral fiber, and your own strength in order to become a creative person. Next, we'll look into the 10 skills you should know. This is defined by a research institute actually. So, we all are engineering students, and it's difficult for us to get a job in this today's Like in this scenario, everybody has got really, really great talent. So to excel from them, we should have some skills, or we should inculcate within us some skills. So those are these 10 skills that you should know, so that people, this is something that people always need, so that they would be employable and successful in the modern world. And some of these 10 skills are combining different disciplines. Like it is given as having a design mindset. It means designing things so that they look beautiful and functional. Expertise with new media, then collaborating with people through Skype and when other virtual systems, and working in different cultures and managing information. All these are really, really important. There are many skills that you may need now to succeed in future. So the skills include transdisciplinarity, mindset, virtual collaboration, new media literacy, cross-culture competency, cognitive load management, computational thinking, social intelligence, novel thinking, sense making, transdisciplinarity. And probably you should develop them on your own, because these are not something that is taught at school. So try to build these skills within yourself. Now we will move on to another practice called benchmarking. Benchmarking is a process of identifying, understanding, and sharing best practices. Actually, this is a management tool and it's used by all great companies. It can be used by individuals as well. Like, actually, that is something you could practice if you are aiming to become an entrepreneur. It's also a practice of measuring systematically your performance against an outside group. Through this method, the company uncovers gaps in its performance and identifies areas to target for improvement. It is actually an important thing that we should make part of our life on a daily basis. We should always be curious about what is going on in other parts of the world and how do other cultures or societies, ethnic groups, they handle it. Also, we should look what we could learn from them. The way we do things are not always the best. We can learn much from other people as well. So actually, benchmarking is a mindset. It is a mindset for each and every one of us who needs to be creative. It says that observe everything, everywhere, everyone, all the time. Always benchmark far beyond your own products or industry. Benchmark to where best practices are moving and not to where they are present. Next is zoom in, choosing the best of many ideas. Actually, we all have an issue that when we are trying to find a solution, we would have a lot of solutions. So it is very difficult for us to choose the best out of it. So here I'll give you mainly four principles, four tips about how to discover a great idea. First one is, the more ideas you generate, the better your chance to come up with a great one. And you don't know in advance what idea is going to be great and what idea is going to be unsuccessful. So you should always produce a large number of them. You should always generate an unending stream of ideas, and only later you can go back and shift through them and discard some and improve some. And if needed, you could combine some as well and come up with that one idea that you actually implement and generate an unending foundation of creative ideas. Second one is, the more ideas you create are anchored in real people and real needs, the better. So always we should hear about the real problems. We should learn about them first. Always the real thing that is going on. So always try to do that. Third one is, the faster you can prototype and try your idea, the better your chances to succeed. Innovation, creativity, they're actually an art, as I said, and not a science. So we don't have real hard and fast principles. In fact, the whole idea of innovation is to just break the rules rather than just following them. So try your idea and create a prototype. Try it on real people. That will help your chances in succeeding, and it will speak your process, and it's the only way to know if you have a really good idea. and if it really does create value to real living, breathing people. And the last principle that is related to the third one is the only arbiter of a good idea is the users themselves. It's not you actually, it's the users, the people for whom you're trying to create value. They will tell us, like, okay, if this is really great or they don't need this. So, what I meant from these four principles is that always find your ideas, get onto the field and observe what is going on. Think about the assumptions and break some of them if needed. So try things, observe things, talk to people, and be unafraid to challenge things that everybody knows are absolutely true. Now, I would like to share a quote about creativity. This was said by Louis Pasteur. He once said that creativity demands that we try things, take risks, and make frequent mistakes. The greatest risk lies in never taking any risk in our thinking process. Successful ideas are built on mountains of failed ideas. Actually, this inspired me a lot. It has motivated me a lot. He said that the greatest risk is we are not taking any risk. So always be ready to take risk. Because if you're not taking risk, that is the greatest risk alive. So always be ready to take risk and to improve your creative imagination. Always do that. You all will be having a fear of failure. So now I'll explain the role of failure in achieving success. There is no such thing as failure. If you try things or if you're not afraid of failure, or if you're willing to fail and you have to be willing to be fail because you are a creative person, you have to do something new. So always be willing to fail. You can't just dream up ideas or you have to do something. And when you do something, and if it's really unusual or radical and new, you may fail. It may not work actually. But there is no thing called real failure because you tried something and it didn't work. And you have learned from that. And next time maybe it will work. Or the time after that. So creative people always embrace failure and there is no failure thing. And failure is just one small step. Sometimes it's really painful on the road to success. But always be ready to take failures. Okay, you could see an image there. First one is you can take tame ideas and make them wilder, or you can take wild idea and make them tamer and more practical. So which one would you choose? So always choose the second one. We should take a wild idea and then make them tamer and practical by providing it with our own creative thinking or creative skills. It's easy for anyone to take an idea which was already done and already at the peak of success. So taking such ideas and then adding one or two ideas of us, that's not really important. The actual thing is we should take a wild idea and then we should use our creative skills to make them tamer and then to make them more practical. So always try to do that. Next we'll look on to how to tame wild ideas. So I'll give you two techniques for that. The first one is go to the heart of the wild idea. For this technique, you all draw a big heart like this and list inside it all the reasons why people love the wild idea. Then take those reasons one by one and ask, how could we achieve the same quality within our constraints? So keep going for lots of reasons and then at the end, look back and see which are worth investigating further. It could really help you first. Next thing is focus on why and not how. If you're ultimately responsible for putting the new idea into action, you'll already be thinking like, how am I going to do this? But the reality is the person for whom you are doing this, they don't care about how you are doing it. They just the customers, they just want novelty and creativity. So take a break, spend time thinking about why is this a good idea? Then come back to it and then think how are you going to do it? This question should come last and always do it with some fresh energy. That is really important. So always focus on why and not on how to do it. So that was the last topic for the session. And I think the main idea behind my session was to tell you all that creativity is an acquired skill, one that improves with practice. So I think I was able to ignite some of your creative powers. So always try to be more creative and try to inculcate the creative thought within you. Try to exercise your brain. Always do this. Okay, we all are human beings, and I believe that all of us has got enormous potential creativity. But the thing is that we don't even use a tiny fraction of it. We don't try to use that. So we should stop that and we should exercise your brain. Try doing your creative ideas. Then I introduced a method called zoom in, zoom out, zoom in method. And in this method, it's a combination of convergent and divergent thinking. So the first one was zoom in, which is convergent thinking. And in that, focus on really hard problems and explore every possible ways to deliver the facts in it. And then when you truly understand the problem, then move on to zoom out. And that is a divergent thinking, as I said. So this creativity, creative ideas, all this make people happy if it is useful. So try to make people happy because that gives us a satisfaction, and it is one of the most meaningful thing as well. So always try to make people happy using your creative imaginations. And that was the end of the session. And thank you so much for listening to me. And thank you all.